It is essential to be up to date on happenings around you, and to make that easy for you, ladies and gentlemen, we present Fresh Light, where we bring fresh newspaper headlines to the limelight. Mondays to Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Watch, like, subscribe, and make sure your notification is activated on our YouTube channel. You can also like and comment on our pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. It's another beautiful week right here, despite whatever might be going on in the country. Let's just hope definitely to make it beautiful. Lovely Monday morning, the 5th day in the month of June 2023. Of course, I think it's not too late to wish you a happy new month and a beautiful month of June 2023. Of course, a fresh episode, a fresh light on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio for the week. Thank you so much for always joining us. Thank you for always watching, for always liking, commenting right here. Definitely, that's our pleasure. Welcome once again to Fresh Light. My name is MODUPE AKINYOSOYE. And of course, we'll review the schedule, and Fresh Light will be coming your way at this time, 9 to 9:30. I have with me a couple of newspapers this morning. You have the Punch, the D-State, the Vanguard, the Nigerian Tribune, and Daily Sun newspaper, and we quickly peruse the pages of our newspapers to keep you abreast and keep you updated of happenings around you. The D-State newspaper will be the first newspaper to get reviewed this morning, and let's see different headlines we have on the front page of the D-State newspaper. We have NLC absent as federal government and TUC agree on wage increase to cushion effect of subsidy removal. With several riders, you get that details in the D-State newspaper. Away from that, we also have NNPC ends crude swap contract with foreign refiners. That details also you get on page 5 in the D-State. Away from that, also from the front page, we have a rather sad story here. Metro headline: bandit kills scores in Sokoto over refusal to pay imposed levy. You get the details of that on page 11 in the D-State newspaper. Away from that, we also have PwC, why local refining won't crash fuel prices. The details of that on page 10 in the D-State. Ebenezer Onyeagu emerges best banking CEO in Africa in International Banker Awards. You also get the details of that on page 5 in the Nigeria D-State newspaper. A federal government and TUC teams hold talks on subsidy. You also get the details of that in the D-State newspaper. But quickly perusing the pages of the D-State, we have NLC absent as federal government. TUC agree on wage increase to cushion effect of subsidy removal. Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, was absent yesterday at the reconvened meeting between the federal government and representatives of the Organized Labour Center at the State House, Abuja. The first meeting held last Wednesday to discuss the contentious issue of withdrawal of fuel subsidy by the federal government was attended by representatives of both NLC and Trade Union Congress, TUC. But at the reconvened meeting yesterday, representatives of NLC did not turn up, just as TUC presented its demand to government with minimum wage review topping the list. The rest of that in the D-State newspaper. NLC absent as federal government and TUC agreed on wage increase to cushion effect of subsidy removal. Away from that, we also have Nigeria agrees to cut oil production to stabilize crude supply market. Nigeria has agreed to cut its Organization of Petroleum Organization, OPEC, crude production to ensure global oil market stability. A statement by the country's delegation to the meeting in Vienna said yesterday. Alongside other African countries, which have struggled in the last few years to meet their production quota. The delegation stressed that the country's output will now be inched on its highest volume in the last 6 months, which is 1.38 million barrels per day. Nigeria agrees to cut oil production to stabilize crude oil market. The rest of that in the D-Day newspaper. Away from that, we also have from the D-Day, resident doctors urge federal government to invest proceeds of subsidy removal in health and education. Nigerian doctors, under the aegis of the National Association of Resident Doctors, NAD, has advised the federal government to ensure that money saved from the removal of fuel subsidy are judiciously used. They say such saved funds should be put into meaningful investments that would better the lives of all Nigerians, especially in health and education sectors. And NAD said they have resolved to give the new government some time to quickly resolve the issue, which was at the root of the current spate of massive brain drain in the sector. Resident doctors urge federal government to invest proceeds of subsidy removal in health and education. The D-Day newspaper graces that very story. Let's quickly see other newspaper. Let's see from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. All right, from the front page, we have headlines on subsidy removal as well. TUC makes demands. Federal government may set up committee to review minimum wage. Page 2, page 6, and page 8 gives you the details of that very story. Tinubu opposition lawmakers meeting postponed. You get that on page 3 with a rider that says we have not been consulted, says PDP. Away from that, we also have from the front page why I sacked auxiliary as PMS boss. Makinde review that, and page 30 gives details to that. Indigene should be next speaker of Lagos Assembly. General Olariwaju says, revealing that, and also page 30 graces that very story. Away from that, we also have Zenith Bank GMD named Bank CEO of the Year in 2023 Africa International Banker Award. That's also resurfacing in the front page, or on the front page rather, of the Nigerian Tribune. Page 7 graces that details. First Bank's impressive performance increases profit by 12.4% in 2022. FY 57% in first quarter of 2023. Page 7 captures this very story. Away from that, also from the front page, we also have Unity Bank grows gross earnings to 57 billion naira in 2022. Page 6 has the details. Adeleke dissolves 7th Assembly to inaugurate 8th Assembly tomorrow. Page 22 captures that very story from Osun State. Trapped funds. Nigeria tops most indebted countries globally. With a rider that says owes foreign airlines $812.2 million. Page 6 capture that business story. Away from that, we have a Metro headline on the front page of Nigeria Tribune that says bandits kill 13 Sokoto communities. That's also resurfacing on the front page of the Nigeria Tribune, and page 25 you get the details of that rather sad one. Quickly going through the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Okay, on fuel subsidy, quickly taking the story that says we need to know how funds are spent, says NLC. Ahead of its nationwide strike, the National Labour Congress, NLC, has called for the disclosure of how money saved from subsidies was spent. And this was the submission of NLC President, Comrade Joe Ajaro, during an interview with Arise Television on Sunday evening. Quoting him, we need to know who these subsidies were paid to and what the funds were used for. He also expressed disappointment following a meeting between the government and the NLC on Sunday, June 4. According to him, no progress was made because the government did not seem interested in the NLC's position regarding the fuel pump price increase resulting from the removal of fuel subsidies by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the NLC had declared last week that it would embark on nationwide strike on Wednesday, June 7, in a bid to protest the fuel price hike. The rest of that in the Nigerian Tribune on fuel subsidy. We need to know how funds are spent, says NLC. Away from that, we also have this very story from the Nigerian Tribune. Okay, contributions, positive investment performance, push of PFA's to 15.58 trillion naira in first quarter. Contributions received and positive investment performance has helped to push up total pension fund assets under management to 15.58 trillion naira as at the end of the first quarter of 2023 from 14.99 trillion naira in fourth quarter of 2022 and 13.88 trillion naira in the corresponding quarter of 2022. And this is according to the latest pension funds industry portfolio report from the National Pension Commission, PENCOM. Contributions and positive investment performance push up PFAs to 15.58 trillion naira in first quarter. The rest of that also in Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Quickly, because of the time, let's see what we have on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. From the front page of the Vanguard, we have also on subsidy. NLC shuns meeting with federal government. UC 6 pay rise. You get out on page 5 in the Vanguard newspaper. And away from that, we also have from the front page, investment experts extray Tinubu's economic plans, make recommendations. We also have that from page 21. Away from that, Zenith Bank MD emerges, best banking CEO in Africa. That's also resurfacing on the front page of the Vanguard. Bandits kill scores in Zamfara, abduct over 30 girls. Page 6 captured a rather sad one. On subsidy, we also have Sanwo-Olu begs NLC to shelve strike. Page 10 captures the story. Away from that, on Kogi Gubapo, APC's Peaks primary school teacher as running mate. We also have that on page 13 in the Vanguard newspaper. Away from that, 18 passengers die in Kano auto crash. Rather sad one also in the Vanguard newspaper. OPEC cuts Nigeria's oil output by 20.7% to 1.38 million barrels per day. You also get that details in the Vanguard newspaper. Senate indict AGF over failure to recover 910 billion naira short-term loan to MDAs. You also get the details of that in the Vanguard newspaper. Osimhen among 5 players likely to replace Benzema. You also get that on page 47 in the Vanguard newspaper. Quickly going through the Vanguard newspaper. Let's see. Okay, on the 10th, the National Assembly, we have Owaneze Ndigbo tells federal lawmakers, vote with discretion. The Owaneze Ndigbo, the Apex Igbo Socio-Cultural Group, has called on federal lawmakers from the zone in the 10th National Assembly to vote for its principal officers based on their inclination. Chidioze Ogbonaya, National Publicity Secretary, Owaneze Ndigbo Worldwide, made the disclosure in an interview with newsmen in Oka on Sunday. Ogbonaya said that the group is not in agreement with the zoning of key offices of the 10th National Assembly as being proposed by the ruling party. He said that the Apex Igbo Group leadership under Chief Emmanuel Onwoyawu agreed to direct all Igbo lawmakers to vote according to their discretion. On 10th, the National Assembly, vote with discretion. Owaneze Ndigbo tells federal lawmakers. The Vanguard newspaper captures that. And also this very sad one from the Metro page of the Vanguard reveals the bandit kill scores in Zamfara, abduct over 30 girls. Bandits on a weekend attacked communities in Maradun local government area of Zamfara state, where they killed many locals and abducted no fewer than 30 girls. A survivor told the BBC Hausa service in an interview monitored yesterday that one of the abducted girls, who managed to escape from captivity, returned with only a headscarf. The terrorists attacked Sakida and Jambako communities on Saturday afternoon, killing over 20 villagers at Sakida and injuring others. The rather sad one from the Vanguard newspaper with the headline, bandits kill skulls in Zamfara, abduct over 30 girls. Away from that, we also have, reasons why Auxiliary was sacked. Why sacked Auxiliary as PMS boss? Makinde breaks silence following the clash of interest that ensued between the former chairman of disciplinary committee of the park management system in Oyo State, Alhaji Mukala Lamidi, also known as Auxiliary, and Governor Sheyi Makinde. The governor has broken silence on why he sacked PMS boss, saying there can't be two governments in a state. The governor made this revelation on Sunday during a Thanksgiving service to commemorate his Omititun 2.0 held at the Cathedral of St. Peter, Ibadan. Recall that Makinde, through his ex-chief of staff, Segun Ogunwuyi, last Tuesday announced dissolution of the PMS headed by the former NURTW boss. Why sacked auxiliary as PMS boss, Makinde breaks silence. And quickly, let's see the Punch newspaper before we round it up this morning. From the front page, you also see subsidy. NLC shuns federal government meeting. Electricity workers back strike. You get details with different riders in the Punch. Senate queries Accountant General over 910 billion naira MDA's loan. You also get the details of that from the Punch newspaper. On trapped fund, foreign airlines plan meeting with federal government. You get the details in the Punch. PDP wants Tinubu to make asset declaration public. You also get the details in the Punch newspaper. OPEC raises Nigeria's output as Saudi Arabia cuts production. You also get that 18 die in Kano crash. FRSC boss warns against overloading. That metro story also from the Punch newspaper. NDLEA seizes 390 kilogram illicit drugs in 4 states. You also get the details of that in the Punch newspaper. And quickly just taking a story from the Punch newspaper. Okay, we have this from the sports pages. Let's quickly give you the sports story from the Punch newspaper. Okay, the just concluded clash between Korea and Flying Eagles on the 20. Korea and Flying Eagles on the 20 World Cup dream. The Flying Eagles' quest to win their first ever Under 20 World Cup ended in the quarter-final stage on Sunday after they lost 1-0 to South Korea at the Santiago del Estero. An extra-time goal by Choi Sung-hyun was the difference as the Asians progressed to the semi-final of the Under 20 World Cup in Argentina, where they faced European champions Italy. Ladon Bosso made one change to the side that defeated host Argentina on Wednesday. Samson Lawal made way for Victor, who provided the assist for the second goal against the South Americans 4 days earlier. Nigeria started the encounter as the better side and almost got the opener just 2 minutes into the game. The rest of our from the sports page of the Punch newspaper. Korea and Flying Eagles Under 20 World Cup dream. All right, that'll be all on Fresh Light this morning on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Don't forget to follow us, like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and definitely will be a pleasure to us. Thank you so much. At Al-IyamoyeTv and radio is the handle to follow and to subscribe. My name is MODUPE AKINYOSOYE. Do have a fantastic morning. Good morning.